Gary Shteyngart, the author of Super Sad True Love Story. Gary, you've argued that there is the disappearance of perhaps the intellectual center in American cultural life. Is that what books should be doing now? Are books the last resort for real discourse and dialogue in America?
Well, things change. In the beginning, there was oral tradition, and people just spoke around a bonfire, and information was passed on in that sense. Then, the Gutenberg press came, and things were published, and many people who belonged to the oral tradition said, oh, no, now everything's going to change for the worse. But, of course, the printing press was a wonderful thing. So I think there will be something new will come along. My problem is just that I don't see what it is right now. I don't see what's replacing books in their intellectual and emotional heft. I mean, what a book does, it's a very strange technology. It seems old-fashioned, but when you read a 300-page novel or even a memoir or a work of nonfiction, you're kind of entering in a kind of Vulcan mind melt. You're entering the mind of another human being, and for a very sustained period of time until you either grow to love or hate that person. Whereas with this new technology, you're entering slight sound bites that are conditioned very quickly. They have one purpose, which is to increase hits, increase ratings, make sure that many more people would see this and hear a person's very limited points of views, because that's the way the internet works. We can't, you and I, for example, can't talk for 300 pages. Not that anybody would want to hear me speak for that long, but it's condensed our attention span. My own mind feels very sliced and diced at this point, where I can't concentrate on a large, long, piece of work. If I go see a movie which lasts 100 minutes, I feel my hand slowly creeping toward my iPhone and trying to see if it's buzzing or if it's making any sound. And if I can't last through a 100-minute movie, think of how difficult it is for the average consumer, and I do mean consumer, to sit through a 300-page book.
Are you on Twitter and Facebook?
I am on Facebook, and it's mostly I post pictures of my dachshund, my long-haired dachshund, Felix, and I can see the attraction of it. It takes several years to write and then promote a book, whereas it takes 3 seconds for me to upload a picture of my dachshund, and people seem very happy with my dachshund, and they say, oh, that's great, and you'll get 50 different comments on it immediately, and you feel the instant gratification of something that this kind of media offers you, that, of course, slaving away for 3 years on a book and then hoping somebody will buy it, I mean, that's quite a difference. So I understand the instant gratification part of it. I just worry that I, too, am being very much seduced by the fact that I can go on, take a photo of a shaggy dog and get some love out of my readers.
You're not attracted by the aphoristic nature of Twitter. I would have thought that you would have been a master of the 140-character statement.
Well, I am very long-winded, so my books go on for a couple of pages too long all the time. So I think the 140 character would really scare me, that limit. Also, I just got on Facebook about a year ago, so I'm trying to really calm down here and just use one thing at once. And also, does Twitter allow you to post photographs? It does, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can do links to photos. So you can put your dachshund up, but you could even be on Twitter as your dachshund.
Huh. That's very interesting. But, people do really, excuse me, people really do care about these things. For example, I gave a reading at the Strand bookstore around the corner on Broadway, and I brought Felix, my dachshund, because of popular demand, and he got a bigger standing ovation than I did. I mean, he got a standing ovation. People just sort of...
Why?
Well, because people have been following him on Facebook, and they think he's really incredible, and I'm just, a writer.
Well, you definitely need to put Felix on Twitter. I think he could be a star. He could generate even more revenue for you.
Well, we're definitely going to monetize Felix, but the question is, which platform do we use? I think his own TV show is really the way to go.
Does he speak Russian or English?
Well, he's a German dachshund, so he speaks German quite well. He was just interviewed on German television as well.
He was? What about?
His views on America, 9/11, blah, blah, blah.
Is this another book, Gary?
Sure.
Could you?
These are really weird times to live in, but for a writer, they're really exciting times because you can't make this stuff up. When I wrote this book, for example, women in this book, young women, wear something called onion skin jeans, which are completely transparent and allow people walking by to see, all their goodies. And 2 months after the publication of Super Sad True Love Story, the New York Times had an article about the Paris Fashion Show, and one of the runways featured women wearing completely transparent pants or jeans. So what shocked me was that, as a writer, you're trying to keep up with society. You're trying to write about the present, but I write something, and in 2 months, it's actually happening. So in a sense, there's no present left. And as a writer who wants to write about contemporary society, writing a book set in the future is sort of the only way to capture it because it moves so fast.